Good evening, all. Welcome to another round of Round the Clock Cricket with me, Rahul. I have with me Sagar and Sudeep today. We're running a little short of experts as Kunal and Rajeev both are traveling, but we'll manage definitely. The Old Trafford test ended with a lot of excitement. One of the great escapes of the 21st century that's been heralded by all experts. And in the next half an hour, we'll discuss on how the test went, what were right and wrong for both the teams, and going forward with Oval, which promises to be a humdinger if India can close it on 2-2. Not many people gave India a chance, so that will be a very exciting last 5 minutes. So today I'll start off with Sudeep. Uh, my question to you, Sudeep, is looking at the England bowling, which we knew that it will be a back toss up between the inexperienced England bowling and the inexperienced India batting. So, Brydon Cars, he bowled 21 overs in the first innings and 71 in the second. And he was the most underused bowler in the entire English side, given that he's a specialist pace bowler. Even Ben Stokes bowled more than him. In fact, Ben Stokes bowled double than Brydon at 42 overs and 11 overs. Josh Tongue comes with a speed of around 89, 90 miles an hour. So what do you think, and why would the English management be harping on Brydon Cars and keeping Josh Tongue out in this very crucial test, which they could have won with a little bit of nitty-gritty on the other sides? I mean, 669 is always debatable because they took a lot of time doing it. They could have declared at 569 also. But what do you think? Why did they pick and they are still sticking with Brydon Cars? Over to you, Sudeep.
Yeah, thank you, Rahul, and good evening, everyone. First of all, I will just like to differ a little bit here because, in the entire series so far, Brydon Cars has bowled, 155 overs in the fourth test he has played. And, which is just behind, Chris Wokes, who has bowled, 167 overs in the entire series so far in four tests. And Ben Stokes comes in third position with 140 overs. So I don't think Brydon Cars, it's only in the fourth test that he has been a little under bowled. But in the other three tests, you will notice that he has bowled, quite a number of overs. And in the Lord's test, he was very effective at times. And maybe, I'm not very sure, maybe he's carrying some kind of a toe injury because he has a history of injuries, Brydon Cars. Maybe the management doesn't want to risk him. That could be one of the reasons, why he was under bowled, especially in the second innings where he bowled only 17 overs at a time when, England should have gone for an all-out attack, to bowl out the Indian batting lineup. So at the moment, I think, maybe if he is not fully fit, then I think Joe Stung comes in the next test in place of him. So
So you
not
think
exact
the third test, the fourth test was an aberration for Brydon Cars?
Braden Cast because just if you go through in the statistics, you'll find he has bowled 155 overs in four tests. So that's quite a lot of overs. He's just behind, right, as I said, Chris Stokes. So I personally feel that if he is fully fit, maybe they can persist with him, Bryden Cars, because in the three other two tests, Bryden Cars was definitely more impressive than Josh Tongue. Although he bowls much faster, but Bryden Cars with his more varieties, is more effective maybe in English conditions than Josh
Yeah,
Tongue.
why I asked you this is because the England bowling is looking very lackluster with
It's
each of the test
lackluster
match
because
going.
these are aging. Can you believe it? In two tests, Jofra Archer had to bowl 90 overs. I mean, how long he can sustain? There's a big question mark. How long
That
he'll
we'll
be able to
discuss.
sustain?
Thanks, Sudeep. That we'll discuss, I
Yeah.
think, in the last 5 minutes of the session where we'll discuss on the oval test. Over to you, Sagar. You want to add on this?
Yeah, I just wanted a small piece over here. I think data which Shrudeep has culled out is amazing. I always thought I did not notice actually Bryden Cast bowling so many overs. Actually, to be very honest, but yes, very rightly said. I think see, understand something. This England team, except Shiraz from both the sides. I'm talking India and England, except Shiraz. I think everybody is coming out after a layover or an injury, including Jasprit Bumrah. Braden Cars, whatever. And it has been, I mean, it has been rare scenario where 4 tests have gone all the 5 days, and not just 5 days, till the last fifth session. So I think that's taking a toll. Braden Cars did not look that fit in the second test. Somehow made it to the Lord's test. I think there's a burnout which is happening here, which we will discuss, and I have a good data point over there. But yes, taking Sudeep's cue, I think it was. Stokes had no other option but to bowl him that less, because he did not. He looked basically faded out. He's too much of workload.
I
And he's
think
also,
the
coming back from injuries, so I'm not very
Hmm.
sure how much fit he is
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, that's the
exactly,
lesser
exactly.
option. I think he has also correct. So, Sagar, over to you now. You'll be taking over the Indian side of the questions. As
Mhm.
4 tests have gone by, and we have dwelled on this on the first episode we did about a month and a half back, that Indian selection was wrong. And now,
Uh-huh.
with the repeated failures of NKR and Shardul, India is now in a position where they have to play probably Kuldeep, which we'll again discuss. But Kuldeep taking a better shot. If he's playing, of course, he has an X factor, but he's taking a better shot, which could have been Shreyas Iyer, that a lot of experts have already delivered on. After these 4 test matches, and with NKR playing one and two, and Shardul playing two, what's your take on this particular selection, given the fact that Washington Sundar has evolved very well, but he's more of a batter. He's giving a less bowling option than a seeming bowler all-rounder would have. And hence, I would ensure that uh, as a coach, I would have thought of getting a batter in and one maybe all-rounder less. So your thoughts on this particular NKR Sardul thing, which is, I think, hurting the team now, is going into the fifth test.
Uh, Very good question, actually. Lengthy question, but a very good question. But my only point over here is, see, what happened is, in the first test, India batted well, but the lower order failed miserably. Unfortunately, that India reacted by putting in one batsman extra instead of a bowler. So that's been a trend in this test series for India. India has been more uh, taking guard against a lower order collapse than looking into taking 20 wickets. Edgbaston, India was, I would say, extremely good with the selection according to the type of pitch that India had at that point of time. Again, in Lords, India missed a trick, and very honestly, in Manchester, in Old Trafford, I think the selection had got horribly wrong, at least in terms of how the whole pitch was. You have to take into account Anshul Kamboj bringing in. So there were a lot of decisions which actually had a lot to be desired. To be very honest with you, I mean, it was not a very good decision, selection decision. But saying all that, we also have to understand that yes, we have now two spinners who can easily bat at number five, Jadeja as well as Washington Sundar. Washington did bat at number five. Now, bringing in another. See, the problem with India is not batsmen. The problem with India in this series has been one extra good bowler. Now, even if Shreyas had come on, and now this is we have the luxury of thinking on hindsight. I'm just thinking who would have been that other bowler that India would have brought in, because there's no point. See, NKR playing two, taking a few wickets in the third test in Lords, which is fine. Shardul has been a mystery case because he's been taken in two matches and he's hardly bowled, which is extremely extreme. It only shows that somewhere down the line, I think the captain and the coach has some issues in terms of disagreement, because I think Shardul is being put into the team because Gambhir wants him, whereas uh, I don't think Gill has all that. What I would say, he does not have that confidence in Shardul in bowling, in terms of bowling. So that's the only thing. Yes, Shreyash would have been, in fact, a very good choice. But yeah, that on hindsight. But again, on hindsight, I'm saying if Shreyash had come in, who would he have played in place of? Then in that case, a Karun Nair, or for that matter, Sai Sudarshan does not play. Sreyash does not have a good history in playing in abroad. So that was one question. Now that we know it was all flat wickets, it's okay. Then who's the bowler? Prasidh Krishna, was woefully not the type of bowler we want here. we don't want another Anshul Khambush type of a scenario. So
I
it's a
think
tricky question.
I think what happened was, and what experts, and especially England experts have pointed out, right, Kevin Peterson and Stuart Broad, Gautam Gambhir is using a eight batter formula with two all-rounders.
Yes,
Where, that
yes,
is
yes,
where things are going wrong, because in test matches you need to
yes,
have a specialist player. He's playing all-rounders in a
yes.
specialist players, and that is where it's going wrong. That is
We
the
are actually
discussion which we'll
running a
have in
one
a,
bowler, one strike bowler short. I think we are one
Yeah,
strike
yeah.
bowler short.
exactly what I was trying to hint at. The what the question was, I was actually only trying to hint at that. It is not the problem with the batsman. It is problem with one strike bowler shot. Now on hindsight also, I'm thinking who that one strike bowler could have been. The scenario. I'm just thinking. But anyways, long story short, I think yes, there is definitely something to be pondered upon. But on hindsight, Rahul and in fact Sudeep, my this was okay. This is done, dusted. You have already selected a team, so you can't go back on that. So that's fine. But my concern, I think, the more burning issue, and I like to pick this up, is what happened to the player which we already have, which is Kuldeep, in the team. Should have played at least, if not in the northern side of it, in Leeds, that is in Leeds and Manchester, but definitely in Lords at least in the first. Maybe Edgbaston also, considering how the pitch was. Actually, Edgbaston we had anyways once, but missing out in Lords, it was not a good idea because. And then again, the question comes in: where does, if Kuldeep comes in, what happens to the other? So I think more than having key now on hindsight thinking, in case Shreyash would have come in, I would be more interested to hear from both of you. On the contrary, because my point of view is very simple. Kuldeep had to play at least two, if not or at least three of the four tests, considering how the pitches were. Rahul.
I think we'll discuss both when we come to the oval selection.
No,
Over to
I'm
you.
talking about the current one. In the current one, Kuldeep had to play. I mean,
Yeah, I think so. We'll discuss this. Definitely, we'll discuss this in
okay,
our post
okay,
reviews.
okay.
Yeah, over to you,
Mhm.
Sudeep. Ben Stokes, quite a mystery character, came into the series with a tag of all round, one of the greatest all rounders. Now with 7,000 test runs and 200 plus wickets, probably after Jack Callis and Gary So was the only third all rounder with that tag. Third and fourth test played extremely well and pushed his body, which we all could see. And he's again trying to do that. I saw an interview with Sky today. He's saying that he's going to push it to the level that he might break down also, which is resonating Jasprit Bumrah, but his action is not that side on that may not have so much of problem. And the speed is also, speed levels are more or less same with Bumrah, but he's got a different action. So my question is a little holistic one with looking at the future. Less than 5 months from now, and then the schedule has just come out from Cricket Australia. November, I think, is where the starting of 11th
Yeah,
November at
yeah,
Perth.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
about 3.5 months.
3.5 months.
35 and a half Ben Stokes on the line with captaincy, which I always said, with Harry Brook almost breathing down the nine. And the England Cricket Board is willing to give Harry Brook a long extension with the white ball already done. And probably they will take it off from Stokes also if Stokes doesn't win the series. If he wins, then it's a different ballgame. He might continue for Ashes. But post Ashes could be Harry Brook as England captain. And he's only 22, so we are expecting another just, Shubman Gill sort of a leader. So my question to you, Sudeep, is what is Ben Stokes' future looking at? And important one, this one I want you to dwell. Is he pushing himself too much? Not thinking about his career because he might break down like Bumrah if he plays. We'll come to Bumrah in the next question to Sagar only. So is he pushing himself too much to win this series because he knows his back is on the line the way he won at Lords?
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Rahul. Yeah, I'm. Well, Ben Stokes, given the inexperienced bowling lineup which England has at the moment, even if he did not want to, he's being practically forced to bowl long spells. In fact, I just now pointed out he's bowled more than 140 overs. And in fact, you would be surprised, he's the highest wicket taker in the series from both sides. So he is pushing to the limits because of the inexperienced bowling lineup of England. They don't have any match winners other than Jofra Archer at the moment.
Correct. But then Jasprit Bumrah, knowing the same thing, and that's why I'm saying
Hmm,
Bumrah is 31 and a half, Stokes is
hmm,
35. But
35.
Bumrah knows the same thing. He is also
Yeah,
not pushing himself. He said, I'll play three. And
yeah,
there's a
yeah,
possibility he will not play
yeah.
in Oval.
But
Could be a possibility. So
Stokes as a
why
captain,
is
it's
Stokes
an
pushing it more?
as a captain, it's an additional responsibility. He's not thinking too far. He now wants to win the series at any cost. It will be a big achievement for him. So at the moment, he's not thinking too far. The rashes or whatever it is. He's just hoping for the best, that his body continues to support him. When the
So
Ashes series
basically,
starts.
this series is a very big series for England.
It's a
Then
big series,
that's
and
what
he
True,
is.
has
true,
bowled,
true.
and he has bowled his heart out, and he has also picked up wickets. He's the leading wicket taker and bowled
Correct.
140 overs at 35 age.
I I I agree with you because Ravi Shastri in Michael Vaughan's podcast, I watched that one.
Uh,
Strictly with cricket, he's told yesterday that this series is assuming a bigger importance, almost at par with India Australia BGT now.
he, exactly. So I think bowling his heart out actually, and
I am
provided
very
he's
surprised with. I am very surprised personally seeing Stokes. I've been watching Stokes for a longer period.
uh,
The way he's pushed himself from Lords, it's a little surprising. Even
actually,
the experience,
I'll
little experience.
to be honest, this Chris Stokes and Bryden Cars and Josh Kang, these three have been big disappointments. A lot
That
was
is the problem
expected
with
from them.
England.
There was
I
I'll tell
lot
you
of
expected a
something.
lot.
there was lot of hype of English fast bowlers, that they are building up
Yeah.
a big fast bowling team, with a lot of potential, but all have, you know, disappointed,
I
and
think this is something.
the spinner has disappointed. They were banking on Shoaib Bashir,
I
to
think
pick
they
up
have
some
made a
good.
mistake. So they should have. I don't know. I was just going through Jack Leach's performance. The
uh,
dumping Jack Leach has
Hmm.
been not a good idea for England.
Not a good idea. And I'll pick it
In
up.
the next
Okay.
test, I think they have included Jamie Overton. So maybe he
Jamie
comes in place
Overton.
of Dawson. He will come in.
Person.
I think there will be an all-pace attack in the next
Yeah, I
series,
think so.
next
They
match.
will. I
Yeah.
thought personally Markwood would come in, but they're holding Markwood for Ashes.
So,
Clearly, they're
so it
holding
is,
Markwood for Ashes.
more out of compulsion. Ben Stokes, given the ineffectiveness of the fast bowlers as well as the spinner, he has been, compelled to go in for long spells. He has no other
Correct, correct,
option.
correct.
I'll give you a small perspective over here, and I was actually reading something, and I'm on the statistics bit of it. See, problem is with Vokes coming back from injury, he has bowled, but he has looked a predominantly new ball bowler. So, if you look at it, the biggest challenge for anybody has been that for England, I would say, is from the overs 30 to 80. In the first four tests, the average is 88. The bowling average is 88. The only bowler who's taking, by the way, Chris Brooks has only taken one wicket during this time frame. The only bowler who has been successful in this time frame is Stokes. Now, what do you do being a captain when you have given your frontline three the chance to pick up the wickets and which they have not been able to pick up? You have to bowl it on the 30 to 80 overs time frame where the average is now currently standing at 88. Now, what has happened is you bring in Josh Tong. Now, Josh Tong does not have that type of experience. He sprayed the ball everywhere. He looked good, but he conceded a lot of runs, had to be rested. What happened to Bryden Cars? Again, not that experience, and again goes the same way. The spin bowling side, which you picked up, has been a very big disappointment. While I was expecting the spin bowling attack to do nothing, to be honest. And there is a one person, and I think this English fantasy with baseball has actually allowed Dawson to come into the team instead of Rehan Ahmed. I think Rehan Ahmed, being a wrist spinner, would have been much more effective if he had come in place of thing. But they wanted a batsman who would bat almost bat till 10. So there is something, and trust me, Rahul, I will say, while this is not the topic to be discussed, this English team or English bowling attack does not give me the confidence that they will do well in Australia. I'm sorry, no. And to answer your question about Stokes, I think he is doing it because he's thinking for the next 3.5 months he has got nothing else to do but to recuperate. So if it is not a hammy, if it's not a hamstring injury, if it's a rotator cuff muscle injury as he's feeling it on his right shoulder, I think he'll be fine with before the Ashes starts. So I think he's taking it on those lines. Why he's pushing it.
Okay. Thanks, thanks. So, Sagar, my next question is a very important question. What could be the reason why India is holding back Kuldeep? A question which almost everyone's asking.
Uh, I think the biggest flaw over here is the team selection, and Nobody else but Ajit Agarkar and Gautam Gambhir is to be blamed for it. They are playing in UK, expecting initially everybody expected that it would be seamer friendly. Now, when you are experienced, you have to understand, read the pitch, and I don't blame just this Shubman Gill for this. Somebody has to tell him that India needed a wrist spinner over here, somebody a Chinaman over here, because see the sameness of the attack. Left arm, finger spinner. Right arm, fast. Both of them are fast. Jadeja as well as Washington. Now the advantage, what has happened over a period of time, Washington has also actually taken wickets, which is good with his drift. Jadeja has been ineffective. So that is where the question that they had to make a bold call to. I mean, my only, and to make it the long story short, and that's why I was more interested to ask about Kuldeep, is because I personally felt it's a woeful decision of not taking Kuldeep, purely because India were initially, and I think they wanted not to lose rather than they wanted to win. So India's mindset was, let us not lose and just have a draw and not lose this series. I think that's the only reason why you would not have taken Kuldeep when you have seen two people. Pant was anyways playing up to the fourth, so I'm saying two people, Washington Sundar and the thing. Even Jadeja, and to be very honest with you, even Shardul had scored around 40 this in the fourth inning, the fourth match, fourth test. So how many more? I mean, it's almost like a replication of what England is doing. Because they wanted to bat till 10, they brought in Liam Dawson instead of a Rehan
I
Ahmed.
think I think that's 6 for 31 and 7 for 41 at Headingley.
I think that's
That went, and that made Gambhir so defensive because he was under anyways the
yeah.
pressure after New Zealand 0-3 and BGT. He
True,
was under
true.
a lot of pressure as a coach.
True.
So he
True.
wanted to strengthen the batting, and in doing so made a huge error of judgment.
That he's still making that error up to the fourth, and I only hope he doesn't make it again. That's the only.
And we're coming to Oval, and we'll discuss this error of judgment because we are going to have some good discussion on Oval. Thanks, Sagar. Sudhir, because you were taking the England side, what has England to offer to win it 3-1? Very simple. What has England got to do to win it 3-1? Either team or strategy or batting.
I think a couple of changes. I think they'll go for an, I think, all pace attack. If I'm not mistaken, it looks like the Jamie Overton. That's why they have, because he's basically an all rounder who can bat also decent bat. He's a decent batter. So I think he's going to come in place of Dawson. And Bryden Carr's fitness is a little bit. I'm not very sure how fit he is. If he's not able to bowl, then George Tung comes in, because Mark Wood is still not fit, to come into the picture. So and he has not been selected also. I think. Yeah.
The England bowling will come under a lot of scrutiny.
I think the batting there is nothing, not much changes in the batting lineup. Batting lineup will remain the same. I think these two changes in the playing 11.
So you were advocating Tung and Overton in place of Dawson and Cars.
Tung provided Cars is not fully fit.
I'll make a bold call over here. I don't think Archer will play.
Could be.
Because he's coming out of an injury after 4 years. He's already bowled 90 overs in 90
overs. Yeah, he has bowled
90 overs in 2 tests. His body, and you've seen a bowler who bowls 150 was not even touching 135. So I was listening to in fact a lot of podcasts over the last yesterday in fact 2-3 podcasts. Everybody was thinking Archer. I don't think England, because see, ideally they would have not even maybe taken Vokes also in this test and would have brought in a completely new set had they won it in this Manchester test. But now that they have not won, they will have Vokes in the team, only because I don't think Vokes is going to Australia, or if even he's going, he's not playing all the 4 or 5 tests. At least 4 tests he's not playing. So, but Archer will, Woods will. So thinking on those lines, I don't think they will risk Archer.
Let's see. Could be a 50-50 for Jeffrey Archer. Then that will be a third change. Let's see. Over to you, Sagar. A very important question raised by Mohammad Kaif, and it is going on the rounds also in India and abroad. Jasprit Bumrah's speed also dropped drastically from 140 to 120s in the test. And Sanjana Ganeshan, being his wife, also said that Bumrah is looking at an injury once again in the lower back. Are we looking at a road map ahead where Jasprit Bumrah, we have to do away with Bumrah for the long run? And even this selection of three tests, picking and choosing, because I was reading today, BCCI is not very happy with, and no one would be happy
No.
with this picking and choosing things because it is giving a leeway, sending a message to other players that if Bumrah can, we can also. I mean, Bumrah is a once in a generation player, true, but I do not see that leeway given. It was not given to Sunil Gavaskar or Kapil Dev also. So, my question to you is very straight. Are we looking at the crossroad where we might have to say goodbye to Jasprit Bumrah and think of a very new team? Because I do not see Bumrah another year with this type of injuries on and off.
See, I was checking all the India's future, at least for the next 1 year. I was seeing what is the workload he may have to take in terms of tests. So yes, Kaif, I think he misread one of the. He did that actually tagging a video where Bumrah was climbing up the steps and he had to be helped because later it came out that he was not hurt, but he had actually tripped while climbing the steps in Manchester. So no, I don't think Bumrah will do that now. I mean, he will be there at least for another 1 or 2 years because look at it, India plays West Indies next in India, South Africa in India, New Zealand in New Zealand, and again Australia in India. He can actually take a longish break from now onwards because and there's a Asia Cup which is happening in UAE in September.
I think
So
if I may come in, I think one
yeah, yeah.
possible option could be, we should rest totally Bumrah for this T20s and one day ODIs and
I was
concentrate
coming
only
to
on
that only.
tests.
I was
Yeah.
coming to that. I was coming
Mm.
to that because I see Bumrah, and why I said that is the Asia Cup. I only see Bumrah playing the ICC trophies for the shorter version. That is at least the ODIs. I'm saying ODIs. Why ODIs? 4 overs is fine for him. That's not a challenge. ODIs where he has to bowl 10 overs with of 50 is where the body takes a lot of toll and he has to do a lot of things over here with test. And I have a statistics also over in this series. I'll give it to you in a minute. But I'll tell you why Bumrah will be pushed. And I have a sneaky feeling he has been, and that's what it's going around. He will be pushed to play the fifth also. They all decided it will be three tests, but BCCI is definitely not okay with it. And then a message has, I think, gone down that way. If you're see what happened with Bumrah's workload, I'll give you an example. First test happened, he bowled 43 overs in the first test. There was a 16 days break that he took, 1-6. Third test, he bowled another 43 overs. Again, there was a 9 days break. India batted second in the fourth test, so that means 9 days break because India batted second in the third test. Fourth test, he only bowled 33 overs in one innings, and then now he has got a 5 days break. If India bats second, it will be at least 6 days break. So with an average of around say 9 overs in 15 days, I think which is fine, or a 16 overs per day on field of bowling actually, which is fine for his because he was diagnosed and he was said that you should not bowl greater than 45 overs a test. That was what it was said. And now with the breaks that he has got 60 days, 9 days, and now another 6 days, I think he will be pushed, and that is what BCCI will be sending a message through. Uh, but to answer your original question, will Bumrah be pushed to retirement? If anything, he will be pushed into not playing one days other than the ICC trophies. That's what I feel like.
But Bumrah will be 32 end of this year. So he's moving on edge.
It's fine. Yeah, but 34, 35, I think he'll be there. I mean, provided, that's what I said, provided he's not asked to play a one day series also.
No.
And maybe those non-consequential T20s.
But the problem is he will play IPL. He's made it
Now,
reference very
IPL,
clearly
Yeah,
that he's
which
going to
is
yeah,
play IPL.
IPL is
IPL
fine,
is fine.
but
IPL
only
is fine.
thing is that T20s and ODIs he should keep away because to prolong his
Yeah,
test
yeah, yeah,
career, because
yeah, yeah.
we need him more in test matches, because ODIs we have
Yes.
a lot of bits and pieces bowlers who can manage the
See,
things, yeah.
the
But
ODI and the T20s and the non-consequential
but of course,
T20s, I
the
mean, and
next
the
World Cup is
ODIs,
due on, I think,
there's enough
27.
players.
So 2027 he
27.
might, yeah, he might play the World Cup.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I said. ICC
Looks a
trophies
little
and
early.
otherwise no.
Yeah.
Let's see how he is managed by BCCI. It will be a lot clearer with tomorrow the teams. I think it's 50-50. Bumrah may play because
It's still
Gautam Gambhir is
50-50.
not.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, Gambhir is not saying. He's saying all bowlers are fit. When he says like this,
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
that it's not in his mind. Otherwise, he would have said Bumrah is playing. Let's see how it goes. So, thank you, gentlemen. We have reviewed Old Trafford. It was a myriad sort of a trace, marred by wrong decisions on both sides. And as the series goes, we are very surprised. I am personally surprised with the very weak English side. I was speaking to some journalist here a couple of days back. This is probably one of the weakest bowling sides since Ian Botham captaincy in the Jubilee Test. If you remember, so the 1980s Jubilee Test, which
Yeah, 1980s. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Gundappa Vishwanath had called back Peter Taylor. So that was a famous test. But this is one of the weakest. I have seen Azharuddin score 100 against England in Calcutta 83. That was part of his
Yeah.
300s. And that was one of the worst. Phil Edmonds, Vic Marks, Richard Ellison, Graham Dealey, and Norman Cowans. Very, very weak side. That was one of the weakest. England body, and after 40 years, we are having
Ellison,
another
Richard Ellison.
Richard Ellison, Vic Marks, Norman
Yeah.
Cowans, Graham Dealey, and Phil Edmonds. That
Very weak
Lorry Phil
bowling.
Edmonds.
Very
Very weak.
good.
That was a horrible bowling. So Davi Shastri scored 100, Shrikant scored 100,
But
Gavaskar did not,
but
Azhar
in
scored
spite of
3.
that, England won the series 2-1.
It 2-1,
That is
2-1.
that's a
Cowans
tragedy.
team. Yeah, yeah.
So
The last
that
test they won. Yeah, true.
yeah.
So I think it is a once in a generation weak attack with Markwood, Atkinson, Archer not rising to occasion. Sagar, I would be agreeing with Sagar. I had initially predicted 4-0 for England, but now this bowling is looking, given the fact that we will have to do a full series on Australia also, with 8 players over
Yeah.
35.
True.
Australia
True,
is also
true.
heading very fast to a huge transition. And probably Sam Constance not. I'm just taking it out the block. Sam Constance doing horribly badly in West Indies. They have a huge opening, huge problem. Yeah, so over to Oval. We'll have last 5 minutes with Oval, starting off with Sagar. What do you see in Oval? Because Kuldeep coming. Most probably Kuldeep coming. Arshdeep coming. Bumrah, if Bumrah rested, Akashdeep. If Bumrah not rested, then Bumrah comes. If Kuldeep comes, probably Shardul goes off.
I still feel Akashdeep is walking in, so that's one thing which is
No, then
definitely
Arshdeep,
having Bumrah, not
Arshdeep.
Bumrah.
Yeah,
So
Bumrah
it
then.
is depending on Bumrah playing, Arshdeep comes in or not comes in. So that is
Correct.
what looks to me. I somehow still have an inkling and a feeling that Shardul will still be persistent thing, going by what uh, Gigi generally has this tendency.
If
So
this all rounder thing. So if Shardul plays, then Sai Sudarshan goes out.
yes, if
And,
because
and,
India has to have one batsman
Well,
shot, to be
batsman
very
shot.
honest.
So that this is the problem they will finally face with this selection, which they did, which I've been talking for a very long time, because they will have to bring Kuldeep, and they are losing a batsman clearly, which will be
See,
a
but
problem.
again, bringing in Kuldeep over here, I will also see. I saw the video today, one of the videos which was there on the website. The pitch currently looked very green. I mean, I know I'm talking 48 hours in advance. There will be
Correct.
a lot of grass which will be shaved off and everything. And oval generally has a better carry. It has better lateral movement than at least Lords. So and it does not have that slope or anything in that respect. So if it is a green and a hard pitch, then again Kuldeep's selection becomes he might not play again. That's the only place. If it's a dry pitch, and
But
if
Kuldeep
it
has
is a
bowled a long spell today.
See,
Very long spell.
I know, but why I'm only consider he should play. I'm being. Let me be very honest, and what my feeling is, and
I
what
think
I feel
Morny
is,
Markel has said, Morny Markel indirectly has said that he will play,
he
indirectly.
has to play. He has to play. But my only thing over here is now that India is trying to hold the horses when it is already gone. trying to pull
Gone.
the horse
Correct.
because
That would have come anyways with the wrong team
what
selection.
what I am only trying to put in over here is oval may not be the best place for Kuldeep to bowl. Actually, that's my only concern. If it is a green pitch, if it is generally a traditional oval pitch which is fast, bouncy with lateral movement, then you don't want a Kuldeep. Then you want another pace bowler or a swing bowler over there, seam bowler rather, not swing, another seam bowler over here. So considering if it is that, then it has to be Bumrah, it has to be Shiraj, and it has to be then in that case Akashdeep, the three frontline pacers, followed with uh, I think Shardul. Then in that case again, if it is. But my only concern, and I am again reiterating, India may have fallen into the trap of not taking Kuldeep earlier and will be playing Kuldeep even if it is a green pitch. That's where my only concern
Yeah,
is.
India will play Kuldeep. I know it is. They're going to play the green pitch, and of course, the team selection has been wrong from day one, so that will
Yeah.
affect the team now. You're right. India is anyways going to get hurt by the selections. The selection was one batsman short, one bowler short also. Subhi, what's your take on the strategy? India, we are talking about we've spoken about the English strategy. What do you think is the Indian strategy? Because see, if England draws it, they win it.
Yeah,
India
yeah.
has to win it to draw it.
So
So it
I
is the
personally,
stakes are more higher
stakes
with
are
the
very
Indian
high,
side. So
very high
yeah,
for the
yeah,
Indian
yeah.
team. So I personally feel, you have to go for the kill. Irrespective, it is, I mean, a 3-1 or 2-1, it is the same. You are losing the series,
Yes, completely.
Absolute,
Other
absolutely,
Completely.
than I think
absolutely.
it's time to go for the kill and see Shardul Thakur. I know I agree that he has scored some 40 odd runs in on one innings, but you cannot sacrifice your bowling attack. I will still go for this Anshul Kamboj Akashdeep comes in. I'm not very sure Bumrah will play or not. If he plays, then it's
I
fine.
also
And
don't. I'm
if
not
he
sure.
doesn't, if he doesn't play, then Arshdeep comes in.
Arshdeep makes a
Arshdeep
debut.
comes in. But I will
Arshdeep.
definitely push for Kuldeep in place of Shardul Thakur because you need to be aggressive,
That's a
irrespective of the
logical
wicket,
thing. That's a logical
That's
irrespective
the
thing.
of whether
logical thing I'm saying, Raj.
Very
irrespective
logical.
irrespective of the wicket, whether it is green top or it is
That's
a dry
all
wicket, whatever. Kuldeep can always bring a surprise in any kind of
correct.
wicket.
But the problem is,
And
as
he
Sagar rightly said,
and
and I
and
also
and
feel
and 40 odd runs for now I think the management should have some confidence in the batting of Jadeja and
Yes,
Washington
they
Sundar, the
should,
way
and
they
correct.
have
especially
batted. So
because
they should be ready to
Yeah, one
sacrifice
extra
one
batter is not
one
taking them
so-called
anywhere.
all-round.
Correct.
I mean, I'm saying so-called all-rounder. I don't know what
yeah,
Shardul
yeah,
Thakur and because
Yeah, I
just
think basically the selection of NKR and Shardul both were wrong.
what
Basically, initially we had
can you
discussed this.
see in two matches he has played, he has been bowled only 27 overs. So what kind of
Correct.
all-rounder?
true,
You
true,
don't
true.
have confidence in
True.
his
Very.
bowling. So why are you
The
taking him?
problem is, which Sagar said, which we say,
Ah,
Gautam Gambhir has a very bad fixation for all-rounders. And
yeah.
that happens
Yeah,
in
so
white
And
ball
Kul,
cricket. You can have that in white. In red ball, you have to
you
play a
pick
special.
up Kuldeep, he can bowl 30 odd overs in each innings, and
Yeah,
he
Aram
can pick
se.
up
He will
wickets
bowl
anytime.
35. He will.
He can pick up
and by the
wickets
way,
anytime.
England has a very bad history of playing wrist spinners. So why
Yeah.
not?
Great spinners,
So,
correct.
so irrespective of the pitch, Kuldeep should come in. I
One thing
personally
I
feel.
am watching, Sudeep and Sagar both,
Huh.
Kuldeep was very badly treated both by Shastri and Kohli. The same
Yeah,
is
yeah.
happening with
With
Shubman Gill and
And
Gambhir.
Gambhir,
He
yeah.
is picked in Australia. If you remember that 18-19 series, which Rishabh
Hmm.
Pant won us,
Hmm.
he played one match. He took 5 wickets. Again, immediately was dropped after taking that 5-4.
In
So
fact,
Kuldeep's career has been from 70 to 25. 8 years he's played 13 test matches. And India has played about 73 matches in 8 years.
and in fact,
It's a pathetic,
had
pathetic
Kuldeep played,
ratio.
in we have played, two all-rounders in all the four tests, without any contribution.
I
So
think
had Kuldeep played, the result could have been otherwise. It could have been
I
the
think
reverse, 2-1 in
what
favor of
is
India.
coming out is a bad selection and
Very
some
poor
very rigid
selection.
rigid thinking by the coach
And
in
until
putting the all-rounders in a game where you need specialists. That has been said by everyone. We don't need to reiterate. In cricket, if you
Yeah.
ask Shardul Thakur to open India's batting, it is almost like becoming that. If you play two all-rounders, I don't know, God's sake, why
I
they
mean,
are
in
playing two
Test
all-rounders.
cricket, you cannot make these type of mistakes. In one day, TK, it is okay. Sometimes you
One
get
day, though, it's a
you,
50
you
over
can you
game, you can
can
have five bowlers and win it also. Correct.
somebody can manage it. But in Test, it is very difficult if you have such as
It's very
truncated
difficult.
bowling
It's showing
lineup,
up.
very
It's
truncated
actually
bowling
showing up.
lineup, and it was shown when a very badly exposed in the last Test in
It is getting
Yes, yes.
exposed. It will get exposed because,
Yeah.
I mean, England is, at the end of the day, it's a strong team. It's not a weak team like Zimbabwe or Afghanistan. They
And
will
then
hate
their
you.
baseball
Yeah.
way of batting.
See,
So that
without doing baseball in Old Trafford, they scored 669 and recently about
yeah,
4.4. So they're capable of scoring fast without baseball. And I think Gautam
Now,
Gambhir has to realize this also. Very fast, he has to
and
realize that
all
the
the
team is a
bowlers are
selected team.
looking totally jaded. This is very mane,
Correct,
worrying
correct.
thing is the Siraj in is totally looks clueless now.
So Kamboj goes out, Bumrah if he goes out, the third one would be
Shardul
uh,
has to go out.
Shardul
Shardul.
goes.
yeah,
No,
Pant
there's
is
another.
not playing anyway, so
Pant is
Jurel
not
is coming
Jurel.
in.
Jurel comes in. So that
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
we are not
fine.
discussing that. So
Yeah.
Arshdeep,
Mhm.
Akashdeep, and probably I would say I would want Kuldeep in place of Shardul. So I'm okay to
Me
sacrifice a
too.
Any
better.
day. Any day.
But
Any day.
what Sagar said, I also agree. He has a bad fixation for all rounders. Bad
Yeah,
fixation.
yeah, yeah. Bits
And
and
that will
pieces.
hurt. That will hurt India a lot. Even in New Zealand, which India will go in about a year, it is going to hurt India because I don't know any new player coming up in the. I do not see any new player coming up in this 6 7 month span
I'll
for
tell you
India.
something, Rahul, over here, just to
Yeah.
take it forward. Kuldeep, I'll tell you. India will start playing Kuldeep the next test when India
In a
plays in India.
home series. No?
Yeah, that to they
100%
will.
he cannot be
Yeah, he'll
left
play.
out now going
He
for.
has to come. He has to
Now,
come.
he has to be there. That's point number one. And I'll come up with another, I would say, a tricky thing, and this time is about England now. So we've talked what does India do. I'll tell you what England is in a fix now. This series is actually England wanted to test wanted to test their baseball theory, wanted to test their supremacy in test with these 10 tests. The two best teams, the most challenging of them, one India at home, and Australia in Australia. In the Indian series, they were expecting a 4-0-4-1, nothing less than that. Let's be very honest about it. That was actually what their thought processes were because of the retirements. But what has actually happened with the retirements is India's batting got a better fillip from the people who are there. Now England now has to play, and I am again coming to it. See, I'll just take you back a year or so back. In the last five series, when England toured in India, which they lost 4-1, till the fourth test, it always looked 2-2. England may do 2-2, and then maybe on the fifth test, if it is a 3-2, England would have said, okay, we had done very well in India. Now the same thing has now happened over here. Now England wanted a 4-1 or a 4-0. Now they're in a situation that they may end up at 2-2 and they will be actually thoroughly criticized. And what may also do is I'm sticking my neck out. If this is the bowling attack, England will get thrashed 4-0 in Australia, if not 5-0. They do not have it. And also, please read in between the lines. Joe Root, being Joe Root, does not have a century in Australia. He has only 250s in Australia. So that's one bucket list which is empty for Joe Root. And with the baseball theory, you can get away in one test in Australia, not five tests. No. Baseball does, and it has been proved again last time around. The Brook thing did not work in Australia. Jamie has not played in Australia. Stokes will go with a lot of body issues in Australia. So Australia, I think England is in a fix. More,
Baseball,
I would say
worldwide,
England is
worldwide.
more of a stress in this last fifth test than India because they, at any given cost, has to win this test to ensure that they are not because starting with Nasser, Arthurton, Ram Prakash, Butcher, Vaughan, KP, everybody six. I have named already six of them. Everybody is getting on top of this England team. They were supposed to roll India over, and they are now, honestly speaking, had a few moments got India's way, this
India would have been
scoreline
ahead
could have been
actually.
3-1 today.
Yeah.
It could have been 3-1 today.
Yeah, thanks, Sudeep and Sagar. We have had a good, engaging discussion, and I think playing Kuldeep, we'll have to see how it goes, and we'll come
Yeah,
back post this match. I think, like Sagar, India is a little too late. Maybe the horses have been bolted already, and I think that this last test match, if it goes the full 5 days, with England playing four bowlers, and not great bowlers also. India's selection comes a little too late. That is my take. Let's see how it goes. And
But
if
again,
Kuldeep
I'll
doesn't,
also tell you, if Jamie Gus Atkinson is coming in, he's also coming in after a hamstring injury. That's not a good place to come into also. So
let's see.
the bowling line from both the sides are in actually totally
Let's
mess.
see
It's
how
in a
it
mess.
goes. And
Mhm.
I think the team selection, if end of the day India loses the series, it will be due to the selections made by Ajit Agarkar 1.5 months back. That selection of 18 people went wrong, absolutely went wrong. And we are paying for this now. And this fixation of Gautam Gambhir to with all-rounders, I think, has to go off very fast. Otherwise, he will not continue to be a red ball coach very clearly because I do not see a coach having a white ball mentality and carrying on in the red ball. You cannot have. You have to have specialist. So that is it. And the note will
And one
finish
more
off
thing, I
today.
think Jaiswal, Yashasvi Jaiswal, his second innings record needs to improve.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
This
poor.
has
It's
been
I think at
horrible.
it's really poor.
It's been
eight.
He,
horrible.
he in BGT also scored that 161 at Perth and then tapered
Yeah.
off. Here also he
No,
scored a big
no,
one, then
Rahul.
a 200.
Very good point which Sudeep picked up. His second innings average is 8.95.
So can you, how can
It
you,
is
an opener,
pathetic. It
how
is
can,
pathetic.
this is not expected from an opener.
No, obviously he is having an average of 52 just because of the huge numbers of the first
First innings,
innings.
first
But
innings,
he will
yeah.
be
Yes.
caught. He will be caught. He will be caught. So he will be very definitely caught.
So
So
he
that's
has to,
it.
some temperament
Yeah,
issue. This is a temperament issue.
could be, could be. I think Jaswal will work it out. I have a lot of time for him. He's 22, so he'll
Yeah,
work it
yeah.
out.
Yeah, but he
So
has
on
to,
that note, thank you both, Sudeep and Sagar. We look
Thank
thank
you.
you
forward to a
so
very
much. Thank you so
engaging.
much.
We look forward to a very engaging 5 days at Old Trafford and I'm sorry at Oval. And we wish India draws level at 2-2, but needs some innovative thinking from Gambhir and Gills as a batsman is doing fine. So I think if the coach needs to do some innovative thinking so that we have a good team, the right team at the right place. And that is it for today. Good night and have a good time. Bye bye.